I first heard of Huangling Village while sorting through my grandfather's belongings. In a faded old photo, a paper effigy dressed in Qing dynasty garments stood before a wooden house, beside a young woman. Behind them, a row of faceless figures faded into the background. Fascinated by Chinese folklore, I packed my filming gear and followed the vague address on the back of the photo, beginning my journey to find Huangling Village. Huangling Village had long vanished from maps, its location pieced together only through fragmented tales from the elders. Legend said it was a place no one dares to mention. Not because of what happened there, but because it still exists. The closer I got, the darker the weather became. Mist clung to the mountains like invisible hands pressing down on my neck. By dusk, I found it. A decaying wooden sign at the entrance barely revealed the words, Huangling. It was eerily quiet. No barking dogs, no chirping birds. Just a dried-up well, leaning huts, and a paper effigy facing the village entrance. The effigy was tall, about 6 feet, with a red robe and a scholar's hat. Its painted smile was unsettling, but its eyes, they were black jade, the size of human eyeballs, and staring at them made my scalp crawl. I tried to record the scene, but the moment I raised my camera, it shut off automatically. I checked everything, it was all fine, yet it wouldn't work. As I turned to leave, the wind surged. In it, I thought I heard a whisper, "Don't go in." Still, I stepped into the village. And the paper effigy's eyes seemed to follow. Every house in the village looked abandoned for decades, windows shattered, doors askew, thresholds layered with dust and ash. I stepped into what looked like an ancestral home. Inside stood a row of paper effigies, a bride, an official, an opera singer, and a child-sized figure dressed in burial clothes. All of them faced a pitch-black coffin. Its lid was sealed with faded yellow talismans, half of which had peeled away. One read, "Seal the soul. Do not disturb." A chill crept up my spine, as if something behind the effigies was watching me. But I didn't dare look twice. I tried to use my phone, but the screen flashed an unfamiliar symbol, 3 curved hooks, intertwined. Then, it snapped a photo on its own. In the photo, the effigies hadn't moved. But their eyes were red. As if they had just been crying. I shoved the phone into my pocket, ready to leave. But as I turned, I heard it. A soft rustling. Like paper shifting. I didn't look back. I knew the stories, when a paper effigy moves, it has chosen its master. I left the house. Glanced back once. The paper effigies seemed closer to the coffin than before. The child's smile had deepened. At the village's heart was a dilapidated temple. Its doors ajar. The incense ash still warm. As the wind stirred, a whisper echoed from within. The ghost wedding approaches. I entered the temple. The smell of burnt incense and paper hung heavy in the air, as if someone had just been there. But the shrine didn't house a deity, it displayed a massive paper marriage contract. The names on the contract were of a bride and groom. The bride's name, it was an old nickname no one had called me since childhood. A chill seeped into me. The contract, it seemed meant for me. The paper was still soft, the ink fresh, as if it had just been written. The groom's name was blank. But as I stared, an outline began to appear, blurred features, eyes without pupils, staring straight at me. I stumbled back, knocking over a clay effigy. It shattered, and inside, was a small, broken bone. It dawned on me, these effigies weren't made entirely of paper. Behind the altar, I found an old register. Each page listed ghost marriages. The final line was blank, except for 4 characters, awaiting the host's return. Then I remembered, the child effigy with the deepest smile. The coffin with talismans. I grabbed my phone to take a picture, but the gallery already had over 30 photos. Of me sleeping. Me flipping through the contract. Me, horrified, in the temple. But I had never taken them. I ran from the ruined temple like a madman, down a path behind the village and into the misty woods. Just as I thought I'd left the ghost marriage behind, a hidden Taoist temple appeared through the fog. It didn't feel real, more like a shadow of a dream cast in front of me. At the entrance hung spirit-warding talismans. They sizzled softly, not with fire, but with curling white smoke. An old Taoist priest sat beside the gate, cloaked in tattered robes and holding ebony prayer beads. His eyes were pale gray, as though they had seen through life and death. "You went inside?" he asked, his voice rough as bark. "That contract, it was written for you, wasn't it?" I nodded in terror. He sighed. "It's too late." He led me inside. The walls were draped with linen charms. On the floor were 3 wooden crates, each filled with scorched, half-burned effigy remains. "These were runaways," he murmured. "Once a ghost wedding begins, the effigies follow the bride and groom. If you refuse, they follow you forever. Until you accept." I asked if there was a way out. He was silent, then said, "Return to where the paper eyes first found you. Only there can the bond be broken." I remembered the ancestral home. The coffin. The paper child with the deepest stare. Perhaps the end had already been written. I returned to the ancestral house. Dawn approached, the eastern sky tinged an ominous red. The courtyard was silent, and the paper coffin stood open. Empty. The air still reeked of burnt offerings, as if a ritual had never ended. I stepped inside. The marriage contract rested neatly on the altar. 4 paper effigies stood at the corners, their eyes fixed on me. I lit an incense stick, drew out the ebony beads, and placed the marriage contract into a brass burner. It burned slowly, as though resisting. Around me, whispers rose, like children chanting vows. As the last corner of the paper curled into flame, a voice sighed beside my ear. "Why, didn't you want me?" I turned sharply, but only saw the paper effigies collapse into ash. Sunlight poured through the window, chasing the shadows away. It seemed, it was finally over. I stepped out of the house. The sun warmed my shoulders, but my spine chilled. I raised my phone to snap the coffin. The screen blurred. In the final photo, there was someone standing behind me. I hurried away, not daring to look back. Villagers bustled about, but none noticed me. I passed through them like a ghost. Or maybe I had become one. That night, I dreamt of the paper child. Holding the contract before the house. Staring with those eyes. In the dream, he whispered. "What you burned, was only paper. The pact, still lives in your heart." When I awoke, there was a gray-white mark on my wrist, as if something had once been tied there, and silently slipped away.